and Ethics of Care, PGCE students' experiences of online learning during COVID-19. My interest in understanding the PGCE students' experiences during the countrywide lockdown and emergency remote learning came about in early April. As a lecturer of a PGCE module, the students were just getting ready to write the module's end of Term 1 test when the president of the country announced the lockdown and the Stellenbosch University closed the campus. What quickly became apparent was that despite the communication and support from the university, for example, the option to apply for and have a device couriered to their home, or access to monthly data, the students' learning experiences were diverse and challenging. I changed the Term 1 test to an assignment, and I was able to quite quickly see which students were struggling with the changed teaching and learning modalities by their ability to submit their assignments online and the quality of their work. Alongside this, as a lecturer, I found moving from the buzz of a lecture hall of 265 students to the silence of online learning quite unnerving. I was just getting to know my students in the lecture hall, and suddenly they were gone into cyberspace, and I needed to find a way to reconnect with the students and their learning. In order to do this, I needed to find out what was happening with the students. We were all in lockdown, which was frightening in itself, but I kept wondering, where are the students positioned in lockdown? How are they coping? What are their challenges? How can I support them? And how can we keep talking, discussing, and engaging? I started a WhatsApp group to begin communicating with the students to provide some noise of discussion in the online silence. Through the WhatsApp group, I came to know the students as they started to talk, not only to me but to each other, about the module work and about what was happening in their lives in general. We also discussed what was happening in education, in schools, in the country, and we debated the changes and decisions that were taking place. And slowly we moved back into an engaging discussion, which might even have been even more richer and involved more student voices than one might have heard from in a lecture hall. During this time, I conceptualized the writing of the article and completed a proposal and applied for ethical clearance at the university. Towards the end of May, it became apparent that as a university, we would probably remain online for the rest of 2020. It therefore became even more urgent for me to hear from the students regarding their online learning experiences, as this would be the new normal for the year. I sent out the student survey at the beginning of June. The student survey completion rate was high, and I received 241 completed surveys from the 265 total PGCE student cohort. The data was immense, but after spending time carefully going through the responses, various themes emerged. I then began the process of finding a framework that I could use to present and discuss the data. Joan Tronto's Political Ethics of Care seemed to be the most apt after a considerable amount of reading. I then spent time analyzing the data in relation to Tronto's phases and elements of care. The process of researching and writing this article has been an important one for me in my journey as a lecturer, and I'm grateful for the honest and at times very vulnerable responses the students trusted me with. We all have stories to tell about this very unusual year we've all journeyed through. However, this article is about the PGCE student voices and their experiences of emergency online learning during the COVID-19 pandemic.